Hello, welcome to Fact Vision. In this video we want to know Russia better. So stay with us until the end of the video. Russia is the largest country in the world in northern Eurasia, in North Asia and Eastern Europe, with a variety of unique tourist attractions, from historic towns and beautiful villages to its artistic and cultural heritage and unique nature. Dear tourists, you can experience these on your trip to Russia. It does not matter if you are a fan of culture and art and you are interested in the works of the most famous artists and writers and ancient and historical monuments or adventure in nature. You can find and enjoy any taste that suits you and your interests. Climbing volcanic mountains, hiking in the most beautiful mountain trails, ski slopes and watching works of art by the world's most famous artists are some of Russia's great attractions. Until the 18th century, Russia was a less powerful state in Eastern Europe and was not very large. Until the beginning of the 18th century, with the reforms made by Tsar Peter the Great, the country became a vast and powerful empire. In 1917 the Communist Revolution took place in this country and the name of the country was changed to Socialist Soviet Union. Russia, the Federal Republic of Russia, was the most important and largest republic in the Soviet Union. In 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed after a long Cold War with the West and was replaced by the Russian Federation. Russia's history dates back to the 14th century. The commercial kingdom of Moscow emerged as a major player in several smaller similar regions. Ivan IV, known as Ivan the Terrible, was the first ruler of Moscow to call himself a Tsar, and Romanov came to power in the 17th century and ruled the country for 300 years. They ruled. Peter the Great and Catherine the Great were among the most famous of these kings who made many reforms to modernize the country. In the early 20th century, deep discontent among various sections of Russian society turned into widespread protests in the country at a time when the country's rulers seemed indifferent to the suffering of the masses and therefore radical political currents. They gained strength in the country. The event known as Bloody Monday in 1905, the defeat of Japan in the war of that year and the defeats of Japan in World War I, fueled these discontents, and finally in 1917 a revolution led by the Bolshevik Party and influenced by the teachings of Karl Marx was formed, ended the monarchy in this country. Early Lenin's rule was marked by a civil war against the monarchists, and after a while the race for Lenin's succession intensified, and he died in 1924. Stalin took over the undisputed leadership of the Soviet Communist Party 5 years later. But his rule was accompanied by an unexpected volume of political purges, mass deportations, and imprisonment. In June 1941, Germany invaded the Soviet Union and fought a 4-year war in which 27 million Soviet citizens were killed, and Russia won World War II and secured more political control over the territory of Eastern and Central Europe, until Stalin died in 1953 remains in power, during which time the Communist Party uses its vast security apparatus to dominate all aspects of society's social life, and the Soviet Union becomes an industrial and military superpower at great cost to human life. With an area of 17,075,400 square kilometers, Russia is the largest country in the world. Russia is less than twice the size of Canada or China or the United States and more than one-half the size of Africa. The country is located in high latitudes and most parts of the country are cold and low rainfall. As a result, most parts of the country, especially the great land of Siberia, are uninhabited and agriculture is not possible in these areas. The capital of Russia is Moscow, which is in the western and European part of the country and is the largest city in Europe. Russia, with a population of about 144.5 million, in 2017, is the 9th most populous country in the world. Russia has a population density of 8.4 people per square kilometer, which is one of the lowest population density rates in the world. Also, the population growth rate in this country is negative. Most of Russia's population lives in the west of the country, European part. According to the 2010 census, about 81% of the population is Russian. A total of 160 ethnic groups live in the country. Tatars make up 3.9% of Russia's population and are the country's largest ethnic minority. The Ukrainians, Chuvash, Bashkirs, Chechens, and Armenians each have a population of more than 1 million, and Caucasian, Belarusian, Asian, Azerbaijani, and Kazakh Debris are among Russia's most populous ethnic groups. Russian is the official language of Russia, but there are 27 other official languages in its republics and regions. Russia is a federal state with complex country divisions and includes 83 federal units, including 21 independent republics. Russia has a rich culture and famous authors. Like Tolstoy and Dostoevsky, they were Russian. Religions in Russia are diverse, and a 1997 law recognizing Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, and Judaism as important in Russian history. Christianity is the largest religion and traditional religion in Russia, which is part of Russia's historical heritage. The Russian Orthodox Church is the predominant religion in Russia, with more than 95% of registered Orthodox churches affiliated with the Russian Orthodox Church and fewer Orthodox churches. There are, but in any case the vast majority of believers are Orthodox and do not go to church every day. Russia's currency is the ruble, with a GDP of $2.188 billion. Russia is the 8th largest economy in the world and the 6th largest in terms of purchasing power parity. Russia has turned to a market economy since the collapse of the Soviet Union and relies on its vast natural resources, earning more than $18,000 a year. It is one of the 5 permanent members of the United Nations Security Council, the Group of 8, the Council of Europe, the World Trade Organization, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and the Commonwealth of Independent States. The Russian currency is the ruble, known as the rub symbol. The ruble is a kopeck, the value of which is equal to 1 ruble per 100 kopecks. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, the Russian Federation was replaced by the Russian ruble. Several banknotes were printed between 1992 and 1995, and the number of zeros engraved on the commodities became astronomical due to inflation at the time. After the relative stabilization of the ruble in 1996, the government decided to introduce a new ruble to solve the problem, which was worth 1,000 new rubles, which means that the last 3 zeros of the banknotes were removed. Thank you very much for being with us until the end of the video. By liking and subscribing to. Goodbye until the next video.